All right.
You are good to go.
Well. Happy June. Happy June. Happy end of the 2023 year. Let's have a round of applause, y'all, for yourselves, for your hard work. Congratulations. We officially, at the close of this week, we would have officially ended a term. So a term for staff sim is 2 years. So this is a big deal. Take the time, reflect for those of you who are rolling off, or even for those who are starting a new term. Think about what you've done with the first term and what you want to do on the second term. So as we meet today, don't lose the moment. Stay with the momentum. Remember why you started, and we're gonna have a great meeting. We are waiting on our speaker, but because we have who is Dr. Tolliver from the Vice President of Student Affairs here at the university. I'm assuming he's on his way, so he'll be with us shortly. But because we kind of have a full agenda today, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. But first, I'm not gonna forget to do this. We're officially calling a meeting to order at 3:01 p.m. Our parliamentarian is on his way. We have met quorum. Thank you, Catherine. And now we need to approve the minutes. So can I get somebody to move to approve the minutes? Move second. Moved and seconded. Our May 2023 minutes have been approved, okay? Just a reminder, we have some new senators in the room. We send the minutes out by the Friday before the general body meeting, and they can always be found in the Teams channel. You will have access to the Teams channel as of July 1st. So that means really like June 30th, because it's a Friday. June 30th is a Friday, so that means existing senators who are rolling off, you will no longer have access after June 30th. So if you want to, we want you to update your Teams channels, co-chairs, make sure the attendance records are there, make sure the documents are organized, because we're gonna have those same channels for our new co-chairs, okay? So you will lose access as of June 30th. We're hoping to close the business. It is a Friday. Give us a grace period till the Monday. I think that Monday is actually July 3rd. So, give a little grace period, but just know eventually, that the access will kind of fall off. And the same thing for execs, same thing for me, once I'm no longer past president, we all are moving along so that other people can have access to our documents, okay? So if there's something that you need to organize, something that you want to be seen, make sure you're cleaning up your Teams channels. All right. So we don't have Phoebe Tolliver here just yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my president's report, my president's update, really quick, and it's a little longer than usual, but I felt like I could take a little bit of extra time today, as this will be my last meeting as your president. So this is your June update. Here's my notes. Okay, so since we last met, we did have the Imagine Carolina update. I'm hoping that you all were able to log in. It was on Friday, May 19th. There were over 500 staff on the call, which I thought was about nearly 10% of staff, so that's really nice. From the behind the scenes, most of the questions were about class and comp, and most of them Carolina is aware of and hopefully will begin to address as time moves forward. I know last time we met at the beginning of May, some of you are asking about phase 3 of the class and comp study, and I believe that all of that is underway. She will be attending our orientation next week, and those minutes and all that information will be sent to you. So there was a lot of information from Imagine Carolina that was gathered, and utilizing the president's new strategic plan, we kind of put it into 3 buckets. Emphasis on the success and experience of our students, impact of our research, and the need to have a more free, user-friendly university. So if you logged in, I'm not gonna regurgitate all of this. If you want to copy the PowerPoint, I can give it to you. But this was just kind of what we talked about. If you were on the call, we had an opportunity to discuss a little bit about staff setting, but we also focused on parking, infrastructure. What else was discussed? Parking, infrastructure. We talked about staff experiences, training, all of those things, and hopefully more results to come. I can say that President Amaritas is committed to delivering on those results that he's promised during staff senate, during Imagine Carolina, and they will take the next guess, year or so to work on some of those initiatives. The next event in Carolina will not be into 2025. So that gives enough time to kind of explore some of the options and the things that people have questions about. So hopefully you were able to log in and catch that update. But we did have an update. I think it's important that you know that and that you let your constituents know. They were notified via email, but reminding them that, hey, we had this event, there were some deliverables, and we're hoping to move forward in that direction. So also, during that event, we had a staff ombudsperson update from the president where he promised that we would have this role. It's really exciting. So he's making good on that promise. So on May 22nd, I had attended a meeting with the ombuds for students, the ombuds for faculty, and we discussed confidentiality. There was an exploration about how confidential should this role be. There were our university legal counsel, Henry White. He was there to give some feedback on that. There was some discussion about where the position will be located. That's still kind of under exploration. Next step is the Board of Trustees approval for the position and funding, and then the position description. So we're hoping that this role will be ready to go as of 2024. So more to come on that as we need. I'll still be giving updates at the pleasure of the president as things sort of unfold. But just know that has not been dropped, that it's still going, and we're hoping to make that a really, really big win, especially because a lot of the lobbying and the research came out of the staff senate. I'm also EPMS refresh. When I presented this to you all in May, there was so much excitement about this and what we needed to do. And I asked for Jessica to send out last week. And I think she did, and I've already gotten some feedback. Hi, Dr. Tolliver. Get with you just 1 minute. I asked her to send out last week about the EPMS system and any ideas that you all have in the process of compiling all your ideas, all your concerns, and I want to ensure that we provide those to the committee by June 19th. So if you have not provided that to Jessica, please send it to her. Some of you already have, and I received it, thank you, but you have until the 19th. So I want to get that over to them for consideration and before our next meeting. It's important they know staff across the university have concerns and they have things that they want addressed. So, yay! Staff Senate gets out their first award. Last week we had our annual, our inaugural Staff Senate Award ceremony. It was June 8th. It was in the Capstone Conference Center. Many thanks to all those who participated, whether you were there, whether you helped give money, whether you scored awards, all of the above. Ruth Patterson was our first place winner out of the College of Engineering and Computing. Where's Brian? There you go. Shout out to the College of Engineering and Computing. And if Ruth is watching, let's give her another round of applause. Congrats. So if you saw my very long update, because I was so excited on last Friday, the president got there and said, who funds these awards? And I said, oh, we have a Founders Federal Credit Union donation. And he said, well, I want to double the award. So instead of $1,000, it was $2,000 instead of $500. Second and third place received $1,000. So many thanks. Let's give him a round of applause. He wants to keep it going. He said, this is important. I want to keep it going. The provost was able to come for a little bit. VP Garden was there. Michelle Dodenhoff was there. Other supervisors from other units and deans were there. So big deal, y'all. And I'm excited about next year and more to come on that. So these are our winners. And I'm going to share quickly just some pictures. Jessica, we probably can put those on the team channel, the whole slate of photos. But these are just some photos. And I'm in all of them because I'm in the middle, so I want she's showing her face and everything, but it's kind of by default. So pay attention to the winners and the president and VP Gardy, not me. All right, so this is our first place winner, Ruth, and I want to bring attention to her award plaque. That was what they also received in addition to the cash award. And that's, we can see Beth, I covered it up, but Beth is from,
That's the wrong name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Beth Powell. Now, we have another Beth Herron. Beth, just know that you're on my mind. You're on my mind. Beth Powell, and then Beth, let's give her a round of applause to Beth Powell from Business and Astronomy. She is from the School of Business and Astronomy, though. She's an admin coordinator there. And Kim Truitt, she is from Communications and Marketing. She's a photographer. So everybody was really excited, and we received some very good feedback. So many thanks again. And a special thank you to committee. A lot of them are taking breaks today, but we thank them. Let's give them a round of applause as well. Chris was leader. He led our committee, the entire, I guess he led the committee for the actual event. And then Melissa, who is here. Thanks, Melissa. Melissa led our committee for awarding. And so for all of you who worked there, thank you so much. And then Kim, Jessica, and others, picture, I think is, well, Jennifer, Bridget, Michelle, and Beverly. Thank you so much. All right. I love a checklist. So, new senator orientation next Thursday, okay? Darla Moore School of Business, June 22nd. Tyson will talk about that a little bit later. We got some movement going on, it's gonna be fun. Garden and Black for a photo at the top of the day, and then tons and tons of fun all day long. So looking forward to it. If you're here and you're gonna be there, let Jessica know your lunch order, okay? All righty, moving along. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get out of the way. So Craig, this is similar to what's gonna come out in the UofSC Times. He asked me to write something and I had to cut it down for them, so I didn't cut it down for you all. But I know you all can read, but I'm gonna read it anyway, read it to you. So I can't believe my year as your staff senate president is ending. It's been a whirlwind of a year in all the good ways. As a self-appointed wordsmith, how could you guess? Wordsmith, the love of written expression. I started my tenure with the word momentum. I selected this word because I not only wanted us to continue to move forward, but I also wanted to move at a faster pace. It was my hope that the excitement and progress of year one continued during year two, and we have done just that. Here are some of the highlights of what we accomplished this year. Created 2 ad hoc committees, fundraising and scholarships, created the family funds via payroll deduction, secured our first 5-figure donation, thanks to Tyson. We have the Staff Senate Awards and program for to recognize university staff, the only university-wide staff awards program. We established regular meetings with the provost. We got the space without charge from the provost office. Like each dean search committee included a staff senator. We had representation for the first time in a university-wide investiture ceremony for staff senate. Provided a comprehensive proposal for a staff senate ombudsperson that's slated for the 2024 year. And then we had a lot of events that we just showed up and showed out at, which is Movement Day, HR Benefits Fair, Business Expo, Lightweight Women in Higher Ed Leadership, Imagine Carolina, EPMS Refresh, President's Diversity Council, and so on and so on. Looking ahead, as I close out my year, this is my very first year as vice president. I'm most proud that we held a successful election process. Shout out to our membership committee. And we have a full slate of new senators awaiting the opportunity to make a difference. So we'll end our year celebrating the staff during our inaugural reception and on June 22nd with our orientation. And looking ahead to year 3 as immediate past president, I'd like to see the establishment of a Staff Senate Scholarship Award and the launching of a mentorship program. I'm immensely grateful to all of you for this opportunity to serve, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank some current senators, all of you current senators, and my executive committee, Tyson Lusk, Bridget Leslie, Catherine Hilson, Bo Hart, and Shelley Dempsey. A special thanks to our administrative coordinator extraordinaire, Jessica Mackey. It's truly been one of my life's greatest honors to represent your staff senate, and each month I've given you all a word of the month, and it will only be right to end this with my final word to you. Get emotional. It's gratitude. A strong feeling of appreciation to someone or something for what they've done to help you. Thank you so much for just thank you for allowing me to figure it out, to make mistakes, to start over, to move rooms, to just be the representation for staff at the University of South Carolina. It's my honor. And most importantly, I'm getting ready to pass the mic. I'm not going to drop the mic. I'm going to pass the mic. Tyson, I look forward to serving under your pleasure. And I thank you for the opportunity to work with your administration. So, yeah. That's all I have. We're going to do the gavel thing today, but we'll do that next week at orientation. We'll pass the gavel. I don't want to spend too much time on this part because we got to do other fun stuff. So just know I thank you. I appreciate you. And if I can do anything to help you, you know you can email me. So, Dr. Tolliver, you ready? Come on. You got a chance to see all my teary stuff. We can always happen. Tissue, thank you. We're so excited to have you today. Let's give a round of applause. Vice President for Student Affairs, we do have a photo for you. We have a
That's all right.
Can you figure out like to have things like this? You gotta have it like this. Gotta do it right. All right.
Some time ago.
That's okay. Welcome, Dr. Tolliver.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Let me begin by first telling you I don't have $1,000 to give you. President came and double awards and so forth. Let me say congratulations to all the awardees. My name is Bryce. I am the Vice President of Student Affairs and Academic Support. I tell students and tell other groups my job is being the Chief Student Advocate. Now, I was invited months and months ago.
Yes, you were.
But I was able to make it.
Thank you.
At the last meeting, I believe, Rashawn invited me right after we met and I arrived at the institution. So it's wonderful to be here. Now, I was not given any instructions or any time limit. So I take it I can talk longer.
You got about 20 minutes.
Oh, I won't talk to you.
Okay. Just take your time.
Let me begin. I will share a little about this year. I'll share a little about where I tend to go. And then I will take a few minutes to talk about the very important work that you all do as senators. I am a former staff senator myself, and so certainly believe in the work that you all do, the very important work that needs to happen to advance the needs of staff on the campus. I've been here a whole year now, academic year, and it's been a wonderful year. It's been a busy year. We've had a lot that we've been able to get done, and a lot of planning as we're going forward. When I came, I said that as an institution, we needed to adopt a students first agenda. Not meaning that other aspects of the institution and other parties of the institution aren't important. But we here, in my opinion, we're here for students. We're here to serve students. Yes, we do research. Yes, we do community engagement. But we're here to educate, to serve students, to ensure that students who are coming and investing their time and their money have a wonderful experience, then persist, graduate, then become successful alums who then contribute back to the institution. And if we're going to do that well, we have to center the things that we do for students around students. And as I'm trying to talk about this, maybe I will weave together this aspect of what we should be doing for students with the work that you should be doing for staff. And I will start with this one, because it's important. If we're going to make a student-centered approach, and if you're going to be successful at advocating for staff, first thing you have to do is engage with the people you represent. It's hard, and I shared this last week with one of the members of the Board of Trustees. What's the most difficult part of the job? Meetings, and more meetings. And not enough of them are with the people I'm the chief advocate for. I am the chief advocate for students, but I spend most of my time locked in a room with adults.
That's true.
It's difficult to be effective in creating a student-centered environment if you're not engaged with the people that you represent. So that's one of the things that I've tried to attempt at least to do more often. I started Tuesdays with Tolliver to get me out where students are to hear directly from students, issues that they're dealing with, concerns that they have, things that they would like to see. It's also true that if you're going to be the most effective advocates for the staff, you have to be engaged with them. It's great to come to the meetings. Great to go hang out with the president, great to go to the ball game. But advocacy requires you to be engaged with your constituents, even in the work that you do. Some of you may be direct facing with students, some of you are behind the scenes, but whatever you do, whether it's student facing or behind the scenes, it has an impact on students. And what I've been trying to challenge people to do is think about this from a student standpoint, how they interact with the institution, how they interact with our offices, how they feel about the stuff that we all know and we send them on paper chases on. It's important that we embrace it. So we're out trying to engage students, to hear from them, to make their agenda our agenda. Because how can we do the work of student affairs and academic support if we're operating from all the things that we want to do because we sit in the room and we've seen this other stuff, we've read the Chronicle, and now we have an idea. One of the things I also shared with the team, had the pleasure of sharing it last fall, this spring, at the Association of College and University Housing Offices International for their State of the Profession. One of the things I always challenge people to recognize is that every semester, every year, the first year class is different from the year before. This year, we're gonna welcome, the president says 7,500 new students. That's what they're gonna be advocating for. More people to serve, but 7,500 students. And those 7,500 students are not the same as the 7,300, 7,200 that we welcomed last fall. But in many cases, what we're doing for them and how we're engaging them is the same way we've been doing it for the last 2 years. We got a process. There's some rules, there's some regulations, but the people are different. And we have to ask ourselves, are what we're doing today actually effective in serving students and even getting the work done that we need to get done? So we're operating from a students first agenda. Has some wonderful help, leaders here in the room that co-chaired our strategic priorities, work for the Division of Student Affairs and Academic Support. How many of you know that the university has a new strategic priority? It was in an email that was sent to y'all.
Yeah.
Just saying, they've been released. The Division of Student Affairs and Academic Support already has its strategic priorities in alignment with the universities. Because when the conversation started at the institution that there were going to be new priorities for UofSC, I said that we need to have new priorities that are in alignment with the university's priorities. All of us can be successful. But if this person is successful going this way, this person's going this way, that person's going that way, there's no coordination. It's successful, but it's not strategic. So the work that we're going to do in trying to make sure that we are student-centered is going to be centered around a set of priorities that are tied to the institution. And they're simple. Around student success, student support, around some things about community engagement, about efficiencies and effectiveness, trying to make the institution better. But even in this space of student success and student engagement, how many of you know that the University of South Carolina was not built for the number of students that it has today?
Yeah, we doing that.
Doesn't take long to figure that part out. You go to any of the spaces that we have. So one of the critical aspects that we're going to be undertaking in the division is the addition of new space for students. We're already underway with our study and our plan for Russell House Plus, which will really include Russell and Thompson, and we're incorporating some space into TCOOP as part of this process. We're engaged with both local and national architects and hopeful that in the next 12 months or so, we will begin some work on a new expanded Russell House that will add maybe 100,000 or so square feet to that building. We will tear down part of it and then create what appears on paper to be a beautiful structure. that will be more accommodating to the class that we have. One of the things that I challenged the architectural group to work on though, is don't build it for the students today. We have to think about how do we design these spaces and add enough space for the students that we know we're gonna be adding 5 years from now. Because clearly we don't build buildings at all today. But it's a major project for us. The other thing that we do is house students. And we have a lot of students, about 9,600 students. Now, most of you probably don't even know that for the last 7 years or so, we've been master leasing buildings off campus in order to house our students. We recently issued an RFI for new housing on campus. We're looking at the renovation and or replacement, Capstone, Columbia, South Tower, McBride, and Bates and Bates West. We cannot continue to bring students in who are paying the money that they're paying to live in some of the conditions that we're putting them in. Only way you do that is that you have to invest in new facilities. And I am a big proponent of spending our money on our stuff versus spending money on somebody else's stuff on campus. So we're hopeful that in the next 18 months to 24 months, that we'll break ground on a new residence hall. But we need to build a new one so we can start either taking offline or tearing down old. I will tell you all can be some of the first to hear, that I have a campaign going to raise burns. I want birds on the ground. I want it on the ground. Not the people in it, but the building. One of the things I think, if you think about, again, a student's first agenda, we cannot continue to put students in the hinterlands around Columbia and expect them to be able to fully utilize the services that we're building. We have South Campus, or Campus Village going up with 1,800 students. If y'all should get down there, beautiful. Wonderful dining and so forth. And all the times I keep asking, how are they gonna get down there between classes and get back to class? Joe don't serve it, he got a shoulder.
Johnny, I said perfect time.
So the goals that we have in the new facilities that we're gonna bring on, they're gonna be located in proximity to the ocean. Because I believe, and I didn't graduate here, but I have university life is something that I know. One of the things that we talk about almost ad nauseam is the wonder and splendor and beauty of the horseshoe. And I said, right after I got here, if we're not careful, we're gonna turn the horseshoe into a ghost town because we keep putting people further and further away. So we look forward to, at some point, making a multi-purpose building that includes housing on the Burton site. That's the one my goal is to be the first one out the gate. We look to raise McBride and to raise Bates and Bates West. And then some renovation of the other ones that I mentioned. So that's a part of this student first agenda. Well, where does that tie in? How does that tie in to this work, to this advocacy? Again, you need to know the environs of your constituencies. I can tell you that housing does not operate like HRSM. HRSM does not operate like arts and sciences. But if we start drawing conclusions that everything is like the place we are, we can end up in some bad places. I would like all of us to end up like athletics. I actually used this at a meeting of the Garden Society. Are y'all familiar with the Garden Society? It's a secret society that do secret stuff. But I went to that meeting and I shared something that was in the state. It was a quote from Ray Taylor about the new $1 billion athletics plan. And in that paper, it said, tribute to Ray, that we ought to have the #1 fan experience in the country. I took the podium and said, and I agree. But I also believe that we ought to have the #1 student experience in the country. And we ought to be as committed to spending and advocating on behalf of students as we are student athletes. It's more of the record. So it's about how do we get the priority? How do we understand where our students are? Not in competition, but in complement of each other. That's the role of advocacy. Not giving up. Because there will be people who will tell you it's not possible. We can only do one thing at a time. No, we can't if we decide that we're going to do it differently. And so that's what we're trying to do in the division. We're trying to do differently so that we can continue to serve the students that we have. Well, there's another piece. And I think you all have been successful in this as well. I'm getting more into it. University of South Carolina, well, let me tell y'all #1. I have marketable skills, so I just say whatever I feel I should say. Y'all are an advocacy group. The University of South Carolina's pay is not very cheap. Not for the staff. When I came in and started having the conversation about the class and comp study, I told people from the very beginning, I said, y'all have been misleading. Now, the staff centers in the division already know this, because I know them from where. I said, there's no money with this thing. I said, all the people think money coming. But we still have to figure out how to address it. We're losing people. We're losing students. And I'm glad that we did make a commitment that we were going to move the staff minimum wage up. I'm here to also let you know that we're moving the student minimum wage up. And I've had this conversation because staff, in their own way, I can understand it, that I don't know how we can do this. Budget. I said, well, you didn't bring up the budget when we were talking about the staff pay. It's the same budget. We have to treat people fairly. We have to pay them fairly. If we want to retain them, we want them to persist, we want them to continue to be a part of the family. So we're also looking not only to just build buildings, it's important, not only to just create space, it is important, but we're also trying to ensure that the students can live in the buildings that we're building. And so that is a goal that we have that should be announced hopefully this summer, early fall, on a timeline for student rate increases. So I'm sharing with you some of the things that we are working on in the division, but really all of you will be involved with one way or the other, because we have to look at how we partner together in order to advance the mission of students. One last thing I will say, and that's related to the pieces that you were doing around the ombuds and again, that additional advocacy. I don't know who the person will be, but the person that hired you, right?
Yeah, hard.
Okay. That person can't do it all. There's no way that person can do all the things that will need to be done. You all are going to have to help, and in some cases, you're going to have to defeat it. Because the very staff that you represent are going to get upset with the ombuds you have because they're not doing what they need done fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be careful not to fall into that pit. But recognize improvements happen step by step. Building block upon building block. Because that's the same work that we do with students. They will never be pleased because Joe will never give them free food. They'll never be able to park next to their building. But when we add venues and we're adding spaces, we're making improvement. That's to say, don't let great, is the enemy of great? Yes, that's right. You won't be able to do it all. You won't be able to get it all. But keep persisting. Keep working. I want you to know that I'm here for you as an advocate, as a partner, because we have a lot of staff. And I have a voice, even at the cabinet table, that I try to use to advocate on behalf of staff, because in this seat, we have a lot of talk about faculty, and we have a lot of talk about students. But the glue that binds all that together is the staff. And though I am I'm an administrative vice president, which means I'm staff. I'm a staff member, so I know how it happens. But I want you to know that I appreciate the work that you do. I support the work that you do, and we'll continue to do what we do together to advance students. So that's all I have really to say. Be on the lookout for our new plan, which will come out. I keep calling it Gamecock 2030. It hasn't gone through refinement yet, but we're going to put out a full plan for the next 7 years of what we're going to be doing in the division, along with markers, so people will be able to see what we have planned and what we're going to be engaged with here on this campus to make the student experience better. So with that, if you have any questions, I'll take them, and I have no $1,000.
I think that your plans to have more housing towards our campus are awesome. Fully support Burns being demolished. But I'm wondering, I know in a few years, the population, sort of nationwide population of 18-year-olds is kind of falling pretty dramatically. It's going to fall off. I mean, how do you think the plans to expand housing at UofSC will fit into that?
So here's what I tell people. Well, first of all, for South Carolina, for instance, we're not projected to have the same dip. We are a growth state. And we continue to grow from outside of the state. Students want to come here. Here's the other thing. There's not going to be an enrollment dip for everybody. There's only going to be a dip for people who haven't prepared. And so I've had this conversation with Scott before and said, look, everybody says what's happening. But if we're doing the things that we should be doing now in designing a curriculum that students are actually going to be engaged with, having facilities that will actually foster their success, continue to create the destination, I don't think we will see a dip, because every institution will not. What will really happen is smaller institutions, non-flagship type institutions, they're going to see, unfortunately, tremendous dips. But larger institutions will not see the same thing. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
The housing that is going to be built, is that including upperclassmen, or is that still?
The goal is that we can house additional upperclassmen. That we can be able to grow the number that we have for undergraduates, because we also have significant demand for upperclass students. Now, I will tell you, in my idea, in my plan, because I put it in the RFI, is the space over where Carolina Gardens is now. I actually said the university should actually look at developing that for market type rent housing for either graduate students or faculty staff. We have the space, we have the land. Just because it's there doesn't mean it's the most appropriate thing for students, but it could be a wonderful thing that complements the neighborhood, and the neighborhood would be much more happy with full-grown adults being there than students. It's looking at what we have. We did that when I was at Idaho State. We actually had faculty and staff apartments that were on the campus adjacent to the campus. Kind of like, if it were here, think about it being where, from this building, from where Russell House is. That proximity to the heart of campus. We had faculty, that's the only people who could sit there. The faculty and staff, but it was market-based, and it was great because it was convenient, close, and safe. And so I would like for us to be able to do that on the Carolina Garden site, that we put there, but we'll see how the proposals come out.
So, Allie Mathwig, I'm senator from the Honors College, and I want to thank you for addressing the enrollment cliff and the realities of that. I think I'm hearing a lot of burnout from constituents in my unit, but also colleagues in other units, with the size of our incoming first-year class. With the fact that we have lost many wonderful staff members over the last few years, that we are down in our staff numbers, that we are underpaid in many ways. And so it's again, thinking about how do we serve our students with less, right? How do we are already stretched so thin. So I'm hearing a lot of burnout. I'm hearing a lot of disillusionment among the folks I'm talking to. I know there's not an answer to that. So I'm wondering if you can share how might you approach those conversations with folks who are saying, I love this place, but I don't know if I can do this for another year with the resources I have.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up, because I brought it up to the president yesterday. I had my one-on-one yesterday, and I said, we can't continue to do enrollment like this and staffing this or this. It's not gonna work. The magic that we have will be lost if we continue to bring more students than we have adequate staff to serve, because staff will vote with their feet. And so I suggested, and this is something that you all may be advocating on, and I'll be telling my all that,
It's not a recording.
soon we're gonna be talking about faculty hiring. How many more faculty positions we're bringing to the institute, and it's wonderful, we need. But then nobody talking about no staff hiring. But we need them in order to really accommodate the students. So I think that's how we get there. I also think that we have to figure out, now, some of you all won't like to hear it, but the vast majority of our students are not paying for a University of Phoenix experience. They're paying to be here, and they're paying for people to be here. Though we don't all want to be here. But we have to figure out how do we create an environment that supports that. Now, in the division, y'all go back and hear the units. In the division of student affairs and academic support, June and July, the standard is a 3-2. I operated it for 6 years at the place I had before pandemic. We implemented it here. 3 days in the office, 2 places for the entire summer. It's a slower time. The office still has to be open every day. All the hours it has to be open. Everybody ain't got to be here. So we have to also look at how you're providing opportunities for staff to have some type of flex. And as I have shared with our leadership team, please tell your staff members not to be posting pictures on some hiking trail. On the day they flexing and working, you know. But I think we have to do all those kind of things. We have to add staff. We have to pay staff. But some of that has to also continue to be advocacy. Yes, we do, because you don't want to put yourself fighting against somebody else. Yes, we need faculty, but we also need staff. And I think that's a wonderful place for the staff center to be able to advocate. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you mentioned about housing, trying to create more housing so that you can take some of the older places and shift those out. What about learning? What are your thoughts on learning spaces? Because right now we're at 80 to 90% scheduling, and so it's very challenging to get in and repair stuff and also create new learning spaces.
Y'all want me to open up all my little bag of tricks. So I took a group, and when I talk about housing, I don't plan to build just housing. I took a group just a month or so ago, including Derek Gruner, the leadership at housing, the RHA president, the student body president, and the head of Carolina production, to look at some facilities, both student living facilities, but also in a housing facility that I built prior to me coming here. In that space are classrooms. They are the most advanced classrooms on the campus at UIC. In that space is retail space where we operate a Starbucks in partnership with the College of Business, providing paid internship for students to be able to work, get paid, and earn class credit while running the multi-million-dollar franchise. We also have rent space in that space. And then the other thing that we put in that building was general lounge space for students who don't live on campus or who are not in class in the building. That's how we're going to have to build going forward. We have to think about the silo, but this is my building. No, it's not. Not yours, it's not mine. It's about serving students. And I think we can do that. There are models for us to do that. And so, let me look at the RFI that was out there, because the RFI actually asked proposers to look at that very thing in all of these spaces where we're looking at housing. Yes, sir.
I'm Ryan Culpepper from the grad school.
Wonderful.
I know a lot of your work deals with, most of your work probably deals with undergrad, but the fact that you mentioned graduate housing as potential at least indicates that you've got your eye on undergraduate student experience. I'm wondering if you've got any other areas where you think we're falling short in the way that we serve graduate students and enhancing their experience here.
I'm looking forward to new graduate dean arriving.
Absolutely.
But I do think we have an opportunity there as well. I meet monthly with the student leaders for the graduate student council as well, talking about some of the things that we can do to further advocate. We did advocate, this year and receive funding, to provide more academic support for graduate students because, people don't like to believe it, but graduate students need academic support as well. And so we did advocate for some additional funding, I think about $250,000. We have additional funding to provide that support. One of the things I did at our previous place, I think could work here too, is we had some dedicated graduate space. Graduate students are not undergraduates. They're students, but they're different. And we actually created a grad student center in one of our student centers, and I'm hopeful that when we do the expansion over at Russell, that we're able to create some spaces that are dedicated for graduate and freshman students as well. Because again, they're an important part of the fabric here. One of the things too that I think we have to do in terms of graduate students is pay them. I was a bit surprised that graduate students at this institution do not get full tuition and stipend. I was shocked. As a matter of fact, what some of them were getting, I said, no, I see why the students going to the University of West Georgia. Because they're getting a low tuition and stipend. So that's one of the things that we have to continue to look at. Look at the landscape. Who do you say your peers are? And then say, okay, if this is our peer, then we need to be doing this thing. And when we look at it from a graduate standpoint, we do have that issue. We have raised this past year the graduate stipend. I raised it in the division before the provost raised it for everybody else because I thought it was important for those who were in the higher ed program to be able to have a higher stipend. So we did raise it there. And I think those are things that we'll have to continue to do, for graduate students as well. Yes, sir.
On that last topic, have you had any discussions about raising what the dependents of the students of for staff in terms of what they get to break? That's a big consideration for some that have, I don't know, seniors in high school.
No, I have not been in that space, but please email Carolina Gardy. It is something that is vital. It is something that has to be, it does have to be looked at in terms of the overall compensation package for graduate students. And that's the same is true of staff. I will say this, and I think this is the important part of it. There is not an endless supply of money. And at some point, there will be some prioritization. Okay, and those are kind of things, what are we advocating for? And then what are the trade-offs we're willing to do in order to get there? But I do think it is something that's important. The graduate students have, the ones we have met with have advocated that pay has been the most important part of that aspect of trying to further get that up with the tuition, but certainly the benefit piece is a very important part as well.
Thank you.
The president said my time up. Again, thank y'all very much. And we're gonna figure out something to give away.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, we like gifts and prizes and stuff. Absolutely.
You know, how many people came today?
Well, at least 26 plus, well, how many you got? 20?
Joe Callum.
There's 27 senators.
And then we have some guests.
If y'all promise me, y'all will engage in a meal with a student. Joe Fortune will send you all a $25. I don't pay for it. But he's in charge of all. He will send you
That's
a
great.
$25 gift card, meal card, for you to take a student, coffee,
Okay.
lunch, or something.
Anna
Because-
Edwards commented, Rex, what are you doing?
I'm doing what I should be doing. And encourage staff to engage
Yeah,
with
that's
students.
right.
So get the names of the ones who are here.
We got it, we'll
Got
get.
We'll get that to Joe, and then we'll handle the transfer to make sure that all happens. So again, thank you all. I hope you all have a
Thank you.
wonderful, wonderful summer.
That's awesome. Thank you. And for those who aren't a senator yet, or your guests, get your information to Catherine Hilson. Catherine, raise your hand so everybody knows, at the conclusion of the meeting. Thank you so much. I'm excited about that. Wow, how motivating for our June meeting to be brought back in the direction of advocacy. And that's something else, like this year, I know our first year, we did a lot of we did a couple resolutions, and we had a lot of things that we wanted to see change. And this year, nothing wrong with that, we just kind of went a different direction, but it'd be nice to get back to the advocacy piece. And thank you to Dr. Tolliver, who, am I speaking out of turn, has maybe some of the highest number of staff on campus, or is it athletics? Anybody know? Is it student affairs that has the most staff? Okay, they told me no. All right, let me stop. I'm gonna stop spreading rumors. Never mind. Let me just move on. All right, never mind. So we are now down to the meat of the matter, which are committees. Committees are the heartbeat of Staff Senate. This year, one of the things that we introduced was having each committee to provide a report at every meeting, and I think it's gone very well, and it's been nice to hear from you all and the hard work that you've been doing. And so I'm not gonna call you all up one by one. Do we have a representative for bylaws? Bo, are you gonna do? Okay, all right, so we're gonna omit bylaws, but let's go with the first 5, and then let's see what we end up with staff awards, and staff fundraising. All right, Kelly. And you all just kind of come down.
Switch. Okay. Thank you. Oops. Did you actually put it in?
We got it ready for you.
Oh, okay.
I think you can take the clicker.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Okay. Well, hello, everyone. For those of you that are visitors, my name is Kelly Fink, and I'm the chairperson for the membership committee. And I want to welcome all of you here, and to kind of give you a summary report for the membership committee for this year. So first, before I do that though, some of you may be asking me or looking at me and going, Kelly, that doesn't look like a professional top to go with this. But for those of you that don't know me, I am from Denver, Colorado, so I had to wear something Denver after last night's win.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yes, so anyway, okay. So just to provide a quick overview, we are in our second year for the membership committee. Our purpose overall has to be to assess the representation in each of our organizational units, conduct all senator officer elections, our senator elections, implement orientations, maintain the list of outgoing senators, vacancies, fill those vacancies, etc. So first thing I wanted to do real quickly is, if you are here and you're able to do so, I'd like our membership committee members to please stand. So I don't know if Shelley is here or not. Okay, Vanessa Berry, if you wouldn't mind standing, Justin Griffiths, Michelle Knight, Carolyn Milana, Carol Mitchell, Emily Poveromo. I just want to thank all of you who were on this committee. Some of you may not really realize there's a heavy lifting with this committee in the spring semester in particular. And so I just really, really appreciate all that you all have done. It's been an absolute honor to work with all of them. And so let me move forward. So accomplishments, things that we accomplished this year. One is, as you can see on there, the staff senate officer elections. We worked with the executive committee in order to be able to plan and implement those this year. We had an election process automation. Really want to thank Leslie for helping us out with that, because she did some heavy lifting for us for that. But we got those automated so that we had 2 different systems in order to be able to automate our elections this year. We also looked at our staff senate seat representation, and we did suggest for having an ad hoc committee that will be going into the next term, and they will be doing that moving forward, but we helped provide some good information for proposal for future representation. Also, we looked at the General Senate seat elections and did all the planning for all of that, all the implementation for that, all the evaluation for all of that. We also did a staff senator recruitment video, so for those who are not familiar with that, several of you helped us with that. Thank you very much, those of you that did. And so we had that on the website, and thank you Communications Committee with helping with all of that. We also filled the vacancies. Unfortunately, sometimes people have to, they move to a different position. They're not in their same unit. They're not in their same division. So we had vacancies. So our committee looked at those and then we're able to get those vacancies filled throughout the year. We did this year, also we created an onboarding system for those positions, for those people who were appointed to positions to try and get them onboarded. We worked with Jessica in her office in order to make sure that we had that. So we had checklists for that and processes to make sure that to help give good information for our new senators, because it is a very difficult thing. Some of you who have done it, it's difficult to jump in the middle of the year. So we created that process overall. We also looked at a senator mentorship program. We need to do some retweaking with it and reevaluation of it. And then, so the plan is to leave some good notes for the next group in order to try and bring that forth for this next term so that we maybe can move forward, as the president has mentioned, with having a mentorship program. And then we also looked at some different bylaw revisions that we had suggested as a committee that we needed in order to be able to more effectively run our different elections. So we brought forth those also. And that's it. I just wanted to thank everyone again and for everything that you all helped us with doing. And I would be remiss without thanking Jessica and Rashandra for everything they did, especially with the senator elections, because it was just a lot of work, and so we just really appreciate it. And for those of you that are on the committee, including the two of you, there's a bag down here for you that is some goodies to just thank you all for helping out with everything. And that is it. Does anyone have any questions? Nope. Okay.
Thanks, Kelly.
Next
Great
one.
job. Thank you. Communications, Craig, Senator Brandhorst. Yeah, so very much.
So this will be quick. I'm a lame duck, and I just got back from a very long vacation. However, I do want to say on behalf of my co-chair, DeJuan Sellers, who could not be here, and everyone on the Communications Committee, it's been a privilege. As Kelly mentioned, our last thing that we really worked on was elections with her committee. That went well. I was going to talk about who was going to be on the committee that I'm leaving, but that's not the time to talk about that, apparently. And it's also not my place to talk about it. I will say this after I step up, and I think other people that I work with would say the same thing. We are happy to speak with the next generation of senators about how to proceed to answer questions, to be there in that capacity. Last but not least, a shameless plug. Not for myself, not for the publication I edit, UofSC Times. That's not a publication of Senate, but it would not have come back if not for this body. There's an issue at the printer right now. Look for it in the next couple weeks.
Thank you, Craig.
That's it.
Okay. That's awesome. Policy and well-being. Dynamic duo.
Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Okay.
So y'all know year one for our committee was pretty fast and furious, and we survived. Through surgery, through maternity leave, we had an amazing committee that kept everything going, and we thank them so much for all of that. So now we're gonna go over quickly some accomplishments and what we have upcoming. So we talked about already the work of the buds person and the pledge from Dr. Amaritas to get that going. Thanks, Rashandra, for that update also. Also, we had our discussion with parking, so we met with Jeff Perkins. We know that they are in the middle, or I think they've started their study. Hopefully, and I'm saying that with a really big hopefully, they will keep us abreast of everything that's going on with that study and allow us to offer some advice and things of that nature as this keeps going. Hopefully, we'll be first to know what's coming. I say that skeptically, but I'm hopeful. Okay, the Imagine Carolina, we definitely worked on that, making sure that there was one, first of all, for staff, that there was visibility of Staff Senate during that day, advocating, heavily trying to advocate for our trades and custodial staff to have a voice and feel comfortable sharing their voice. And that is also an ongoing project of ours. And also having Staff Senate represented in the steering and planning for Imagine Carolina. That was also a really, really big deal. Also being inaugural for us in this human resources feedback loop, being a part of these different studies that they're doing, being a part of the class and comp study, now the EPMS update, making sure the staff has a voice and is very, very represented in all of that. I feel like I'm losing my paper here. Let's see. And lastly, starting conversations, and this is the big one for me, with the Title IX office about our ADA concerns. We definitely have those for staff. We know that student disability is available, of course, for students, and they made sure that we knew that they were only available for students. So we want to make sure that someone is representing staff in those regards also.
And I'm going to share a few areas of growth for the coming committee and the leadership that will take that on. So the classification and compensation study, we really want to bring clarity and encourage the next committee to bring clarity for staff on what's happening, timeline, who to communicate with, receiving transparency. Imagine Carolina, utilizing the data and trends from that experience as a compass for what this committee can focus on in coming years, or at least until the next Imagine Carolina staff event. ADA resources, just like Janae mentioned, just working with the Title IX and Civil Rights Office, and hopefully if they hire a new coordinator, make those resources more accessible for staff. We would love for this committee in the coming year to really advocate for access to the Headspace app for our entire community. We know that students have that access as a big university, but staff and faculty do not, and so we'd love to pass that along. We'd love to build more connection to the faculty what policy and welfare committee that they have, just to understand what they're working on. And just like Rex mentioned up here, how can we advocate for staff, but also have the buy-in and their support as well for things that this group and the next group general body that's going to come in advocates for. We're going to continue to look at the leave pool policy and ask for some transparency and communication on how it works, understanding really state policy and then USC policy and where can we flex. And then having an Airmark collaboration. So really working with Airmark to create staff survey about dining preferences on campus, help communicate options for staff, especially just with resources and food allergens on campus, just what can we learn? We did, we're gonna advocate just for Staff Senate to invest in a survey tool just for coming years in case anyone ever wants to pulse staff and get that perspective. We really don't have a tool yet, but that's something we can look into. But that is our report for the year and what we hope the new leadership will continue forward with. But we thank you all. We thank the members of this committee so much, and we have done some great things in 2 years and hope to do more in the future.
Professional development.
Hi, everybody.
Hi there.
I just wanted to not take too much time, but just thank a couple people. And certainly our committee is charged with providing professional development opportunities for you all. And just certainly thank Tyson for Jeff Black as our fall speaker. He was fabulous, and believe it or not, we've secured him for the fall again for Jeff Black Part 2, 2.0, and Strategic Communications Workshop. We were involved with helping to influence and maybe talk about staff awards. And a special thanks goes to Beverly for being on that ad hoc committee as well. We had determined that we would have a professional development opportunity fall, spring, and summer. So 3 moving forward. So I'm excited about new leadership, new co-chair, and seeing what we can do that has come out of the survey for you all, whether that's actually in a meeting or something that's outside of a meeting that you can take advantage of sort of asynchronously. We have emergency training scheduled for our August meeting right before school starts. Special thanks goes to our committee member, Steve Burney, for getting that set up. We have actually had that at the Moore School individually, and I encourage you highly if you want to coordinate it. Steve will help, but you can get it for your individual college, and it's really good. So we'll have that organized for us in August. But just a wonderful group to be involved in, and some of the most spirited discussions I've ever been. There was a lot of bonding over classic comp, retention, the ability to post jobs, that type of thing, everything related to HR. So special thanks to Melissa Kupfer, Steve Burney, Beverly Johnson, Leroy Sims, the other Georgia. I've never met another Georgia. Georgia P. From Patrice's from HRSM. And did I miss anybody? No, I think that's it. So we're excited to see what we can get for you guys for this upcoming year and as far as professional development.
Thank you, Georgia. I think Georgia's the one person that we said she can stay on the chair where we're here.
I didn't even think that was an option. Like, I didn't know I should give it to someone else.
No. You run Darla Moore School of Business Career Services. We know you can run the world. So thank you so much. Community projects, Brian.
Thank you to the many staff and committee members who volunteered and participated on community projects over the last year. Just a few of our highlights from this last year. Community Projects Committee organized and collected donations for what we call Top 5 Drive for Gamecock Pantry. Committee members volunteered for President Amaritas' student celebration. We collected donations for a holiday drive for Gamecock Pantry. Committee members and other staff helped with move-in for fall 2020. Committee members staffed a table at the benefits and welfare fair. In cooperation with the library, we organized a Gamecock School Supplies Initiative, or I should say, help get the word out about the library's school supplies initiative. And more recently, several staff volunteered to help with the Give It Up for Good project, collecting a massive amount of donations from students moving out of their dorms. Thanks to everybody that volunteered. I think we've built a good foundation and established some precedent for incoming senators, myself and a lot of us. This will be our last meeting. But I'm sure that incoming senators will carry on the good work of the Community Projects Committee. Joe, Anthony, anything I missed? Anything you want to add?
I just want to say that I had the opportunity to work with 2 committees over the 2 years. I worked with professional development at the beginning for the first year, and I rotated to community projects. I don't know which committee is best, but I enjoy working with them.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Great job, Brian. Great job. Are there any representatives from any of the ad hocs that want to speak on behalf of the ad hoc committees? So we have the staff awards. Anybody want to give a little update on that? Anybody? We kind of already did, but is there any other information that anybody wants to share about staff awards and the scholarship for fundraising?
the website, not just the on the awards, but those who were nominated also in the departments that they're from?
Yes, it's absolutely possible.
But I think that would just help bring more recognition to additional staff members.
Yes, we certainly plan to link that, kind of in between committees right now with communications going in, a new one coming, one going out, one coming in, but yes, we will try. We will definitely want to recognize all those who were nominated, absolutely. And that was important to us as committees. We wanted to ensure that everybody was recognized. So everybody that was there did get a certificate, but yes, we'll also link them on the website. Melissa?
Another question along the same lines. The photographs that were taken after the ceremony, will those be shared with the nominees that were there as well as the winners?
Yes,
Someone else.
yes, I think we can probably just send the link. We can share the link and then they can go through and get what they want off of it. Yeah, we'll send that out. I think those just came in yesterday. So the committees did what they were supposed to do. Ad hoc committees, according to the bylaws, is an opportunity for the president to create these sort of temporary committees to achieve a certain goal, right? So staff awards committee did what it's supposed to do, create the staff award. It's been adopted by the board of trustees. We have it funded and we actually awarded it this year. The scholarship and fundraising committee, we got a family fund. Please feel free to donate. Payroll deduction, we participated in what's the day? Thank you, Give for Garden Day. We were able to get some funds from that, and it's ongoing. So one of my proposals, I guess I could see it through for next year, is to see that those two committees become permanent committees. We have already identified chairs for those committees for the 23-24 year. That will be revealed at a later date. So we're gonna hit the ground running with those as well in the next year. Now for a little business. Bo, you wanna come on up? We can pull up the budget. I don't know if we have it up. Okay. I want them to be able to hear you. Yeah.
Okay, with that, the 2020, yes, Anthony?
I don't know if this is time to call. I have a question about that.
Okay, well, we're getting ready to do a discussion.
Okay.
So, with that, the 2023, 2024 budget has been brought to the table. President James will get a motion to discuss and review the budget. Can I get a motion? So move, get a second? Second. All right, now we're open up for discussion and questions. Anthony?
I was just wondering, when the standing committees, I don't see the community projects listed on there. Is there a reason why
Maybe
they are not on the budget?
it wasn't listed on the budget.
On the standing committee,
Oh, may just be a budgetary oversight. We can make that adjustment.
There isn't anything really allocated there, so it's.
Yeah, but the name is not.
You said it's the name of the committee, just the name.
I didn't know we had to do with it.
No, absolutely not. That's just it's an oversight.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions, discussion on the budget? Okay. Seeing none, then we will move to vote on the 2023-2024 budget. Can I get all in favor, say aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstain? Just want to make sure that only the current senators just voted, so the elected senators will vote after those.
22, 23 senators to vote.
Okay, the budget has passed.
All right, thank you. All right, so we got our budget, we got our full slate of senators. We're cooking with gas here. Thank you to Bridget Leslie for her hard work for the past 3 years as our treasurer. Bridget's been with us since 2020 in that role and had a lot of influence on getting a lot of our systems up and going. So thank you, Bridget, for your work, your hard work on that. Are there any announcements for the good of the order? Before that though, Tyson, do you want to come and kind of talk about orientation a little bit? Anything else you want to say?
Thank you, Rashandra. Just my quick update. The bulk of time has been spent with greeting, welcoming newly elected senators, as well as newly elected executive officers. The executive team are having our own little mini orientation on Friday, so that we can be well prepared for orientation for next year. We are excited about orientation. I think we've got a good blend of programmatic information, teaching the new senators how we got here. I think it's important, making sure they understand the foundation of all the work that it took. Shout out to Lena, who's in the audience, to get Staff Senate off the ground. But as well as a lot of work also on what we want to do next. So it'll be multi-pronged and multi-located, all using our experiences and what best motivates people in the space that they're in. So we're very much looking forward to that. Also just wanted to take a moment to publicly thank Rashandra for all of her work in this past year. I know we had some time to applaud her for everything that President James did, but if we could give her just one more round of applause. Very, very big shoes to fill, and to do that, I will be calling on Rashandra often for suggestions and advice. But I would just like to say that it is really, I do have a lot of gratitude for this group of senators. Not only were you the first group, but it was this body that elected me to this position. So I'm very, very grateful, very appreciative. I'll do everything I can not to let you down. And to do that, I'm sure we'll be calling on you for help as well. But very, very excited. I think we've got a really good group of incoming senators, many who are in the audience today. So thank you for attending and getting the taste of your first meeting. If you could just raise your hand if you're a newly elected senator. Thank you. And just so I don't want to speak for everyone here, but those of you that raised your hand, all those folks who are rolling off, just know they've got your back as well. So you have a lot of support, not only from the incoming executive team, but also the outgoing senators. So we know that now that we've got one crop of senators and now a new crop, that now we can be even more powerful and greater advocates for the university. So we're almost double in numbers. So that's a great thing. But with that, Rashandra, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Tyson. I'm excited for your leadership. So I just want to also quickly thank, Bo and Georgia. They're our hosts for Darla Moore for the orientation. And when I say I felt like they were welcoming me into their home, that's how it felt. So thank you, Georgia, thank you, Bo. I think they're having a Darla Moore ambassadors. They're going to be there to show people around. I think they're going to have some of their staff mingle with us. It's like going to a homecoming. So thank you. It's a big deal. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm excited to get over there. And I wanted to add something else about the staff awards too. So for all who are nominated, we did notify the deans and leaders of that unit. So I just want you all to know that for every person that was nominated, the deans and unit leaders were also notified via email. And so we just want to make sure that we really ramped that up and really gave recognition to all who were nominated. So I wanted to say that. And are there any announcements for the good of the order at this time? Oh, Kelly?
Of course.
All right.
Sorry. I know you want to leave, but not yet. Sorry.
No, I just want to make sure we're good on time. I don't think that PowerPoint is on here.
It is.
Oh, okay. Go ahead then.
Hold on, y'all. Give me 2 seconds here. So what else am I going to be talking with y'all of you about? It's another great opportunity for all of you to get involved, as Brian was talking about earlier, but for this fall and participating in fall 2023 Move In Again. As Jay Rex Tolliver was talking about earlier, we are inviting and we are having 1,800 more students moving on campus than we had last year. So we need a lot of people to help us. These are the move-in days. There are 4 move-in days this year. Normally in the past, we've had like an early move-in, and then we've had 2 move-ins. We had to add an extra day in order to be able to do that. So you have 4 opportunities to jump in and help us out with move-in. But basically, it's about the experience, because by being involved in this, this is the first opportunity that students and their families, in many ways, get to launch off their college career. And so we provide directions for them. We get them in quickly. We get them loaded. We get them unloaded, et cetera. We serve as greeters. And so it's a great opportunity for all of you to do this as icebreaker with people, you know, from your offices. You can work together for that. But we know we need over 600 volunteers, and we're calling them ambassadors this year. So they are move-in ambassadors. We need that many people in order to be able to help all of our students for this project to be successful. So if you go to, give me a second here, hold on. This is the UofSC website, and it's the move-in website. And if you scroll down, it talks about being a move-in ambassador. And then if you scroll down, it tells about who can help, how you can help. It has the shift periods. They are 3-hour shifts. And it also gives the locations as to all the places that you can volunteer. And so some of you might ask, well, wait a minute, we used to volunteer in Capstone, or we used to volunteer over in Honors. We have changed it a little bit based on like what Rex Tolliver was talking about earlier. We've been changing it up a little bit, and we have our internal staff, residence life staff, who will be focusing on particular areas. And so our ambassadors will be at all these locations that you see here. And so these will be the places that we will place you. But when you go into these websites, the great part about it is, let's say I decide I wanted to sign up for Wednesday, August 16th. If it works. Yes, you can see in here, and you can scroll down to the exact location where you want to volunteer. Let's say I decide I want to go to Campus Village, and I want to volunteer from 7:30 to 10:30 on Wednesday. And I do that, and then it will let me know, and it will sign me up for that time. And you will know right then exactly where you're going to be assigned, the shift that you're going to be assigned, et cetera. You don't have to wait until August, as we've done in the past, to be able to receive that assignment. So what's great about it is that if Joe Fortune wants to get all of his staff in the Carolina Card office to volunteer together to kind of do a team building activity, he can do that, and he can have all of them sign up for the exact same shift. And you can see in there how many spots are still available to be able to sign up. And so it's just a great way for you to be able to do this work with the other individuals. Staff Senate, executive officers, you all can work together if you wanted to, and volunteer together. So I just wanted to put that plug out to all of you, and hope that you will join us in helping invite and welcome all of these students as they move on to campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize Bo Hart. Let's give Bo a round of applause. He's going to be rolling off the staff set. He's just one of the execs who's going to be rolling off, who've been here since we started as well. I mentioned Bridget earlier, and just wanted to recognize him in his work in leading with precision and diligence and organization. And it's been wonderful getting to know you. I've told this to Georgia and Bo in an email, but I'm gonna say it to all of you. One of the best things about Staff Senate is people who I never would have worked with in my regular job. I have a chance to work with y'all. I know where you are. I have contacts across campus, and that's been fun. It's been a whole lot of fun. So with that being said, I know people are ready to go. And we kept you a little longer than we typically do, but I think it's for a good cause. For those who will be continuing with us, we'll see you next week or in July. And for those who won't be, we can still see you in July. You're welcome to come. So have a great summer, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Oh, motion to adjourn. Thank you, Catherine. Boom. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
The parliamentarian was late.
I think we got a motion. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you, Catherine. Me and Bo. No, thank you. No, just yell at me. Thank you. Oh, sweet. I got a quick sweet note. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you.
Great future ahead.
Huh?
This is from my dad's thing. This is the gift. It's a bottle opener and a fingernail clipper.
Okay, well, thank you. You did such a good job with that.
Yeah.